All right, good morning, everybody. Today we're talking about what's new in Inventor and Vault 2019. You guys got the Jared and Josh show, Jared Bowser and Josh Wilson. There we are. And so some introductions. Jared Bowser, I'm a senior application engineer here at MESA, working on my 11th year. You can see me and my family down there. Little girls just turned 3 and 1 this year, so just finished up a couple birthdays for them.
My name is Josh Wilson. A little bit about me. I've just passed my 7-year mark here at MESA. I do all of our in-house and external Vault support and implementations training. I also know a little bit about Inventor and a little bit about Revit.
And just a little bit about Vault.
And a little bit about Vault.
All right, guys, here's what we're going to do today. We're going to start off with some what's new stuff in Inventor 2019. There's some pretty cool stuff that's out. A couple little things that I say little, but I'm pretty excited about them because I've been waiting for them for quite a while. So we'll talk about some Inventor stuff. I'll show you guys some live demo stuff, and then we'll switch over to the Vault side, and Josh can talk about some of the new features in Vault 2019. All right, so some basics for Inventor. We're looking at some improved performance, automation, core modeling workflows, and collaboration. Those are our big 4 topics that we're going to be talking about today. So let's start off with some general enhancements. First screen that you're going to notice when you finally do an upgrade to Inventor. And before I get started on that, I did have a quick poll question for you guys. It's going to help me out here. What version of Inventor are you guys using? You guys should see that poll pop up on your screen. Okay, so you guys can see we got almost 60% are still using 2018. About a quarter of you guys are using an older version, and a few of you, 14% of you, have already updated to the Inventor 2019 software. That's good. All right, let me switch back over to the PowerPoint slide. So like I said, one of the first things that you're going to notice when you do finally do your upgrade is you're going to get this dialog box for Migrate Custom Settings. If you guys are also using AutoCAD, you noticed this last year or 2 for the AutoCAD software? 2 or 3 years ago. A couple years ago to migrate your custom settings. So what does this do for you? This will eliminate the need to export your application options as an XML file and import them into this current version of the software. There is a note there. You can see from supported older versions. What exactly does that mean? Well, currently the only supported old version is 2018. So if you are using 2018 and you have custom settings, you can do this migrate custom settings. If you are on 2017 or older, you will still have to export out an XML file to import into Inventor 2019. Having said that, from here on out, you should be able to use this dialog box next time you upgrade. This will also be available at any point in time on the Tools tab. There will be a Migrate Settings option there. So if you skip past this box the first time through and then decide later on you want to migrate in your settings, you can always go back to it. If you guys are running deployments, so this is on the install side. So if you do deployments, there's going to be a new checkbox in there, which will allow users on an individual level to run that setting. So in the deployment, you have the option to set up the settings on your own or have them ran through the deployment. Here's one I'm pretty excited about. This one is one of those finally ones. It's a little thing like I said before, but it is so nice. The ability to customize your color schemes. Pretty excited about that one. I'll show you guys what I mean by that and why I like it so much. Let me switch over to the Inventor side. So on the Inventor side, just the 2 things I talked about already. On the Tools tab, that ability to migrate your custom settings there. And I can bring in from Inventor 2018 Important note, you have to have Inventor 2018 still installed on the machine whenever you do that. That way you can upgrade them to the 2019 software. And the other thing I talked about, let me go ahead and cancel out of this. I'm just going to start a brand new part here. And you guys notice when I start this new part, I've been using the presentation background, which is that white background of Inventor. For me, it displays better whenever I'm doing webinars or when I'm doing training classes. But one of the things I don't like about it is my reference geometry comes in that yellow dot, which I'm sure you guys won't be able to see on your screen, maybe just slightly. So, Tools tab, Application Options, Colors tab. We get Customized Schemes showing up here now. I'm going to click on that, and out of the sketch, I'm going to find my reference curve, and I'm going to switch that to an orange color. Click OK, and OK. Let me go ahead and finish. Actually, it updated there. I didn't even have to finish the sketch. But you guys can see now that I'm showing that nice orange color in the middle of the screen. So for my reference geometry, if I project geometry in, that's going to come in that orange color instead of the yellow color. So just that ability to customize color settings. It's a small upgrade, but I definitely love that. Not sure what's going on there. Let's just switch to that screen. Okay. So a couple performance improvements, and this is one of those wordy slides. Not going to go down and read through those, but here's some different categories where they've made some notable performance improvements. I took all the descriptions out because some of them were the same generic descriptions of this function is faster. But if you see something on there that you're interested in, maybe you've noticed some slowdowns or some performance issue with one of these particular functions, and you're curious about what they did, definitely reach out to me, and I can let you know exactly what changed. But the key here is you will notice some definite performance improvements in these particular areas. So new iLogic functionality that has launched in 2019. So there's some new functions to be able to add parts and iParts into a design. There's also new workflows for adding constraints in the iLogic interface. So being able to add, remove components, being able to add constraints. And part of that one is the ability to assign a name to a face or an edge. So if you have a component that you're going to be using in iLogic and you're going to be assembling it using the iLogic functionality, one of the key things here is being able to assign a name to a part face or a part edge that you can then reference later on in your iLogic functionality. A couple sketch enhancements to talk about. We have the variable pitch helix, which is a new option on the 3D sketch side. I'll show you guys a little workflow for that. Another wordy slide, and again, sorry for this one. This will be the last wordy slide I have, but there's a couple sketch enhancements on the drawing side. So if you've ever created a sketch on the drawing side, you've probably noticed, like I have, that some of the auto project options don't work like I hope they would, or they're not as clean. Looks like they made some updates there that'll clean those up and make that auto project and the projecting edges in a drawing sketch clean up there. And a couple new options for rendering images. Instead of just using a mask or making it transparent, we have a few things we can do, including setting a transparency color. A couple part enhancements here to talk about. So the tolerance advisor, that model-based definition that has popped up in the last year or two that we've talked about in the past, they made some improvements to it. So you have a face status coloring guide that you can work with now to let you know if your face, your features are fully constrained or if they're under constrained. And the hole note, the hole or thread quantity note, actually shows the quantity now when you're doing the model-based definition. A couple sheet metal enhancements to talk about. When you're creating a face, a new option is to allow it to go symmetrical. We've only been able to go left or right in one direction. Now we can use the symmetrical option. And a new relief shape option, we can use a laser weld relief shape in your rule settings. We'll take a look at those in a few moments. New type of fillet creation. So we have the option to do an inverted fillet. And you'll see that little type drop-down menu there where we have that new option to do an inverted or regular fillet. And if you guys had the option turned on to display extended information in your browser, that's on the Parts tab of your application options, the thicken command now updates and shows correctly. And in Direct Edit, there's a new automatic blending option. So if you guys are using Direct Edit, you're going to see some improvements for blending in there. All right, here's one of my favorite new features that came out in this software, the updated hole command. This thing's pretty impressive. Takes a little bit to get used to just to understand exactly what you're doing, but they have streamlined it a lot. Like it shows there, it's definitely faster, it's definitely smarter, and you could do quite a bit with it. I got a demo to show you some different ways you can work with that new hole command. Definitely relies less on your inputs, and definitely helps you out there. All right, let's take a look at some of those part modeling ones before we move into some of the assembly side. So I'm going to go ahead and start a new part, and I want to show you guys that variable helix update. I'm going to go ahead and start a 3D sketch here, and I'm going to grab my helical curve, and I can switch it right here to be the variable helical curve. I'll start it on my origin point. Get there, and we'll come off in that direction. And from there, I can then start inputting some information. So I can put in my pitch, my revolution, my diameters. Start the second line down. We'll go with 3 revolutions here. And we'll go with 1 inch there. And just add a few more lines to this. Go with 8 on that one. 0.5. Let me zoom out a little bit so we can see what we're doing here. Another one here. 8 more. Nothing like 8 more there. Put some information over here. Yeah, something like that. Oh wait, we need to go up. That's why. Not adding to or accumulating there. And then 0.5 for that one. And then one last one. And we can take a look, see what we've created. Click OK for that. And there's my variable pitch helix. If I want to finish this off and just create an actual design for it, I can go ahead and start a 2D sketch. I'll project in that point. You notice that orange color now instead of the yellow color, so I can see that a little bit better, a lot better. And I'll do a simple sweep tool. To finish up that helix. You can, of course, use that as a cutting operation as well. So if you had a part you wanted to scoop that out on, you can go for that. Or you can make this spring that looks like what it does after you play with it for a while and stretch it all out. Start a new sheet metal tool. That was a part tool. Let's go with new, sheet metal. And the 2 quick things I wanted to show you guys in here. If I start a sketch and draw a simple shape on it. Let's make a 12 by 12 plate. And I start my face tool. Previous versions only allowed me to go one direction. And now I can use the symmetrical option. which I really like there. And in the sheet metal defaults, if I take a look at the roll, we can see on our corner tab, we are able to add in a laser weld relief shape for our intersections. Let me open up my step part. Take a look at that fillet tool real quick. So if I pick this edge using my fillet tool, so I got a type drop down menu here. And the type drop down menu is basically asking me if I want to do a regular fillet or an inverted fillet. By that one. And down here I'll add in a regular type fillet. So you can see the difference with those two. Nice new command there. I like that. And finally, for the part side, let's open up that whole command part that I have, and we'll take a look at what I got. So to start off with, I have a sketch with a couple center points, because I really wanted to show you a couple different placement options and the new way the whole command looks. So I'll start the whole command, and it's going to pick up those 3 holes, the whole sketch center points automatically for me. One thing I do like about this, you will notice that it's centered in your browser now. So it gets rid of that dialog box we're used to working with, puts it in your browser, frees up your screen so you can zoom in and have just more real estate there. Yeah, you can detach that as well if you don't like that. I don't know why you would though, but I definitely like that in the browser. All right, so then as far as the placement goes, it picks up what you have there automatically. The hole type, we could pick if we want a clearance hole, counterbore set. I'll switch this over to a socket head cap screw, and I'm just going to put in a size of 1. That is going to be through all. I'll click the supply button to create a new hole. So for this one, again, we don't have a placement option to pick, but if I pick this face and then I pick my reference edge, it's going to center that for me. So make that just a typical straight through hole with no counterbore. We'll make this a 6-inch size, and I'll go ahead and accept that one. And as far as placing holes, using a linear type option that we're used to before, it's definitely got an improvement here. If you guys watch my screen, I'm just going to click a point there. Maybe I'll click that reference edge, and I'll make that one 4. Off of this edge, I'll make that one 6. I'm going to click another point over here, so I can keep working and keep adding in some hole center points there to define those. Let me change that down a little bit to a more reasonable size. And then I'm going to add one more. And we'll go 3 inches off that edge and 2 inches off that edge to create those holes. Click the OK. So there's my new hole command. Definitely one of my favorite parts, new features in the software. I like 2 of them. I like that hole command, and I also like the customized color schemes. All right, just a couple more slides here that I want to show you guys. Some constraint updates. And I mentioned 1 or 2 of these in a previous webinar that I did, but we have some new solutions for access to axis. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. But if you're doing a make type constraint and you pick 2 axes, in previous versions we were never able to tell it which direction to go. So we might have to use the rotate part in order to get it to line up how we needed it and then be able to use the axis. We have a solution box for that now. And the other one that we have is the insert constraint. It has a lock rotation option. So we can eliminate the need for an angle constraint later by using the lock rotation and getting those things fully locked down. And tube and pipe updates, there is a new option on the tube and pipe size to lock the hose length. So if you guys are working in tube and pipe and you're using hoses, we've been able to edit the hose length where we can tweak the hose length and get a rounded length version, which is nice to put in a parts list. Now we have a simple checkbox there to lock that in place. That way the adaptivity doesn't change it from what we want it to be. That's also available if you do a general dimension on that tube length, the hose length, I'm sorry. So editing the hose length, lock hose length. Let me show you guys just a couple more demo sets, and then we'll we'll switch over to some Vault stuff with Josh. Let me open up my sub-assembly that I'm going to work with here. So a couple things I want to show you guys. Starting off with this threaded rod, if we take a look, I already have an insert constraint on here with an offset value of 5.5. Now in the past, this thing will be free to spin, and we might use an angle constraint or something like that just to lock that rotation if we did care about it. But now we have this lock rotation option, so it's not going to be able to spin on me. Let me add one or two more into that. Let's rotate this around, pick my edge. I'll pick my edge. And with that lock rotation button down, you see the glyph is updated a little bit, and it's going to prevent it from spinning. And same thing over here on this one. Lock the rotation. Good to go on that one. And the other one was that mate constraint. So with the mate type constraint, I'll pick up the axis, and I'll pick up the axis of the hole. And it actually spun it around for me, which is kind of nice. But you'll see that I have these solution options then to switch around the orientation of the axis. So if it did give me the wrong option, I could simply switch to the other solution type, and I would be good to go there. Okay. So that's it on the inventor side. I do have a poll question for you guys while it's still fresh in your memory. Switch over to the right poll question. And looking back on all those options that I showed you, which one of those is your favorite? This is multiple, so you can pick a couple of them. If you like all four of those, go for it. All right, so it's like we got a fairly even spread between those first three, and then about 20% of you, which is probably typical for how many people are using tube and pipe like that lock hose length. So some really nice stuff in the Inventor 2019 side. Yeah, with some new functionality there. All right, let's switch over to Josh. Go ahead and hide that, and we'll start taking a look at the Vault What's New.
All right, so we're gonna try and be not as boring today with all the Vault stuff. Try not to put anybody to sleep on this fine Monday morning.
Not sure exactly what you mean by that.
But there's a lot of good enhancements that Autodesk has actually put into Vault this year. And I just want to put this out there that a lot of them have come from customers, have come from y'all. So we'll get into this slide a little bit later, but just keep that in mind that a lot of these are customer-facing updates. So the first one being Project Sync. Now, two caveats with Project Sync right off the bat: Vault Professional only, and you have to have Fusion Team. But what Project Sync is going to allow us to do, it's going to be a replacement of Buzzsaw with some enhancements. So we're going to be able to take our Vault data, we're going to be able to create folders within our Vault hierarchy and publish those out to a cloud directory inside of Fusion Team. This is going to allow us to share this directory with suppliers, maybe other customers who are doing some side work for you, anything like that where you need to share specific folders or specific files with them, and not have to give them full access into your network to have this Vault data synced back and forth. Now, this can be a one-way push, so if you did just want to push information from your Vault out so a supplier could see it, maybe a manufacturing shop, something like that, you could do that one-way push. If you have a vendor or somebody who is making updates for drawings or some parts that you just want to let them update it in that Fusion Cloud and then pull that down into your Vault. That way you have that constant versioning. You can do that as well, or you can have that bi-directional push there. This is all set up on a timed schedule. It's like if anybody uses replication, it's kind of similar to replication. So it's all seamless. Once you get it set up, it's very simple and easy to work with. The next thing we're going to talk about here is shared views. So shared views is kind of new to the Inventor world, and it actually came out in 2018.2. So Vault was working on it back then as well, but it just wasn't there yet. So with 2019 release, you now have the ability to do a shared view directly within your Vault client as well. Another big thing here is going to be our Vault Thin client. So in previous versions of Vault, whenever a release document was put out, anybody who had thin client access could see all previously released documents. Now there were some ways to get around that with securities and user roles and stuff like that, but now the Vault Thin client has a direct way for you to only show released documents and only show the latest released version. So that's another big update that has been talked about for quite some time. A couple design and workflow enhancements we have here. So inside of Inventor, we have a checkout. You can check files directly out from your Inventor bill of material editor. So that's pretty nice. If you need to update something directly from within Inventor, you're in your BOM, you can do that quick checkout. You can obsolete files now when using a place from Vault, so you couldn't see those obsoleted files. Inside of Vault, you can directly send a hyperlink through email if you have email set up within your Vault to manage those folders a little bit better. Another big one, Microsoft Report Viewer 2015 is now supported. So if anybody has done any Vault report customization, you've known that you've had to use that 2008 Web Developer or Microsoft Visual Studio 2008 to get those report templates updated or created. So now you have the ability to do that within Microsoft Visual Studio 2015. Another nice one here is our item file link state. So we're going to have a couple different icons there. We're going to have a different icon for our items to see if we need to update our item or update our file to display new updated changes to that information. Another huge update for Vault this year is the ability to create and manage custom user roles. So in previous releases, you know, everybody had your administrator, your document editor level 1, your document editor level 2, and those were very rigid. If you wanted to have one person have one piece of a document editor level 2, but not a level 1, then you had to give them full level 2 access. Now you're going to have the ability to manage those roles and create custom user roles. So that's going to be pretty big for a lot of people, as long as everybody is willing to read a little bit and understand exactly what all is going on. But it's great. This is one of the big things I'm really excited about. I think it's going to give everybody a lot of flexibility to do what they want to do. Oh, I think I skipped a slide there. Double clicked. The last thing I have here is some Autoloader enhancements. I know everybody hates Autoloader, but they've really done a lot of good things to it here. So with Autoloader, we're going to have some new tabs that they added in. They're going to have some new scanning features here. So we're going to be able to see the Where Used tab for those Inventor files to see if there's any other relationships that a broken file, when you're scanning it, is related to. That way you can open it and fix it before you auto-load that up in. Another big thing with that is you no longer have to be an administrator to run Autoloader, to batch upload files. As long as you have the document editor level 2 role, then you can now run Autoloader as well. You have the ability to add this all with the job queue, which is another big update. Your filters tab, you can narrow those down a little bit better now, and I kind of mentioned the scanning indicates, or scanning updates. It's going to, instead of being that random bar that's just going to be running across, it's going to add in the total number of files versus number of files scanned. Filter options I already mentioned, and then now we're going to have those DGN files with circular references are now successfully uploaded and relationships are maintained. So that's another nice feature that they added in there with Autoloader. So they're really trying to make life easier for this batch uploading, and I haven't tested it out personally myself yet, but it is seeming to be very nice.
All right, guys. So definitely hope you guys saw some value in what you watched today. And I just want to close out with a couple slides on the Idea Station. I know that you guys have seen these before, but like Josh said, pretty much every single update that you've seen here today and that you're seeing in the software these days is coming from users like you and I. Getting your ideas up there on the Idea Station, other people see those ideas, they vote for them, give it a thumbs up, and eventually one day you'll see them pop up in the new software. Just for example, the one with the customized color schemes that I mentioned, I looked for that one on the Idea Station, and it looks like it was submitted in 2014, and there were triple-digit likes on it, and now we're seeing it in the 2019 software. They don't all take that long. Some of them are pretty quick, and they get in there pretty quickly, but definitely get those ideas up. It's dependent on you and I as users to get our ideas in front of the developers so that we'll see it in the new software. Okay. A couple MESA plugs here and some what's next. So just wanted to let you know that if you missed the previous webinar, or if you wanted to rewatch this one, we host them on our website, so you'll be able to go to our website, and right at the top of the screen, we got our own drop-down menu now. So we got our own webinar drop-down menu. You can see upcoming webinars and past webinars. And if you guys had any questions, comments, thoughts, or even ideas for a future webinar that you would like to see, you can send all that to me. You can send any questions along to our support guys. Don't see any questions coming in on the webinar itself today, so if you have anything, definitely let us know. And that's all we got for you guys. Thanks again for watching. Definitely hope you pulled some value out of this today, and we'll see you next time with MESA webinars and the Jared and Josh show. Thank you.